September 25th, 2025 Daily Bread. Passage 2 Chronicles, chapter 1 verse 1 to verse 17. Key verse 10. Title: Solomon had a right heart. Solomon, son of David, established himself firmly over his kingdom, for the Lord his God was with him, and made him exceedingly great. Then Solomon spoke to all Israel, to the commanders of thousands and commanders of hundreds, to the judges and to all the leaders in Israel, the heads of families. And Solomon and the whole assembly went to the high place at Gibeon, for God's tent of meeting was there, which Moses the Lord's servant had made in the wilderness. Now David had brought up the ark of God from Kiriath-Jearim to the place he had prepared for it, because he had pitched a tent for it in Jerusalem. But the bronze altar that Bezalel son of Uri, the son of Hur, had made was in Gibeon, in front of the tabernacle of the Lord. So Solomon and the assembly inquired of him there. Solomon went up to the bronze altar before the Lord in the tent of meeting, and offered 1,000 burnt offerings on it. That night God appeared to Solomon, and said to him, "Ask for whatever you want me to give you." Solomon answered God, "You have shown great kindness to David my father, and have made me king in his place. Now, Lord God, let your promise to my father David be confirmed, for you have made me king over a people who are as numerous as the dust of the earth. Give me wisdom and knowledge, that I may lead this people, for who is able to govern this great people of yours?" God said to Solomon, "Since this is your heart's desire, and you have not asked for wealth, possessions, or honor, nor for the death of your enemies, and since you have not asked for a long life, but for wisdom and knowledge, to govern my people over whom I have made you king, therefore wisdom and knowledge will be given you, and I will also give you wealth, possessions, and honor, such as no king who was before you ever had, and none after you will have." Then Solomon went to Jerusalem from the high place at Gibeon, from before the tent of meeting, and he reigned over Israel. Solomon accumulated chariots and horses. He had 1,400 chariots and 12,000 horses, which he kept in the chariot cities, and also with him in Jerusalem. The king made silver and gold, as common in Jerusalem as stones, and cedar as plentiful as sycamore fig trees in the foothills. Solomon's horses were imported from Egypt and from Cu. The royal merchants purchased them from Chu at the current price. They imported a chariot from Egypt for 600 shekels of silver, and a horse for 150. They also exported them to all the kings of the Hittites and of the Arameans. Daily Bread Message. Solomon affirmed himself as David's successor in his kingdom. This chapter highlights Solomon's qualifications as a ruler of God's people. The first thing he did as a new king was to worship God at the high place in Gibeon. The high place in the Bible typically refers to a place of false worship, often following the patterns of pagan customs. However, during this pre-temple era, Solomon followed the law correctly, as he worshipped the Lord and offered sacrifices at the location where the tabernacle was situated. That night, God appeared to Solomon and asked him for anything he wanted. He could have asked for wealth, honor, or political power, but he asked for wisdom and knowledge, which he would use to govern God's people. He was a leader who understood his purpose and desired to do what was right before God. God blessed his heart's desire and promised to give all he wanted and much more. Do you understand your purpose in the Lord? What has he called you for, and how should you carry it on? Would you come to the Lord in your prayer to provide what you need to fulfill his purpose in your life? Prayer. Father, thank you for calling me to your great purpose. Please help me to know your will and have the wisdom to carry it on. One word: fear of the Lord, beginning of wisdom.